All right, Gogs, go. Wait, before we go, don't go.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Gogs. Late
Happy birthday, Gogs.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, we're bad.
Sorry, I made it.
Well, that's fine. Everybody missed my birthday, too.
Yeah, I know. I thought I put everybody's birthdays in my calendar, but apparently I didn't.
I don't remember anyone's birthday. I apologize. I'm the worst.
When I think of Sean's birthday, I think about baseball because I think of September. And
baseball, right?
Wait, Sean's birthday is in September. Why would you think about?
Because of baseball.
That's what baseball happens.
Like the end of baseball.
Baseball happens.
I mean, okay. Okay.
I'm wrong. You tell me.
The most recognizable we're associated month with baseball, September.
Yeah, when I think of Sean's birthday, I think of March through September, baseball season.
I got
the first day of fall. I always think of spring sports.
First of all, I got the month right. Second of all, baseball happens in September, consistent and thoroughly.
I mean, it does. It's correct, but I feel like most people associate baseball with the summer.
Whenever I think of Sean's birthday, I always think of October 7th.
Well, that's true.
Anywho, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, happy birthday, Gogs. I'm sorry, buddy.
Well, my birthday is only associated with the birth of the Marine Corps and the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Both happened.
Great song, though.
A banger. Absolute banger of a track. Like, that song is hard as fuck. Like, get out. Anywho, shout out Gordon Lightfoot. Welcome to Movie Podcast. That's right, Movie Podcast. It is Thanksgiving. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, Pirate Vendor? And we watched...
Pirate Vendor.
We watched a movie about space pirates.
Yes.
We watched Alien Resurrection. Back up in your ass.
Back up in that ass.
Resurrection.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is going to be a shocking episode.
I think so.
It actually might be a little shocking on a lot of fronts, quite frankly.
I mean, I feel like, we'll get into it, but I feel like the last, 20 years of
the last 7 Alien movies
have really put a new shine on this movie, which I used to really dislike. And
that's
spoiler
wild.
alert, I didn't dislike it nearly as much as I thought I would. So
put that on a poster.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know that 500 years in the future they'll still be playing basketball.
And they'll still know what a toaster oven is.
The sci-fi basketball. It's crazy.
I still think it's because it's just easy and cheap.
It is a very low...
Soccer's cheap. I don't know. I mean...
I don't know, but America...
the entry. Yeah.
What year did this come out?
Oh, Christ.
98?
Yeah, I mean...
2000, right?
You're at the NBA's heyday back then.
Yeah.
That was peak NBA fandom. I don't know. I guess it makes
sense. If I had to speculate, it's just something that grounds it, makes it relatable to current times.
It came out in 97.
Holy shit.
I was a year off. I was fine.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, this Escape from LA? Well,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Firefly, possibly? Or not Firefly, what's the...
Serenity?
Serenity.
Maybe Starship Troopers?
Well, they've got that basket football. They've got that American Gladiators game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Blurn's Ball.
Where they're allowed to do backflips.
Blurn's Ball.
Blurn's Ball.
So I hit a blur, and then he did a blur, and that gave a home blurn, right? No, you got all that
wrong. All right. Anyway, so we'll get into Alien Resurrection.
Actually, hold up. Just because we're on a bizarre theme,
okay.
Maybe all of our pirate movies will have anachronistic sports references because we had baseball in Hook, now we've had basketball.
But how is baseball anachronistic to Hook when it takes place in present day?
There's no adults in Never Never Land, and baseball.
That's not what anachronism is.
I feel like you might want to use a different word in that context.
Sports. Anachronistic when something's out of time, right?
Yeah.
But more out of.
Well, time doesn't exist there.
I mean, I guess.
So, I feel like the pirate ship is more anachronistic than fucking baseball is.
I feel like I'm 2 for 2 on this. I feel like I was right about September and Sean's birthday. I feel like I'm right about this.
You're just a weird baseball opinion day.
Happy birthday, Gogs. You're right. You're 100%
right. Thank you.
Nailed it.
Happy 65th birthday, Gogs. You're really doing it.
Yep. That means I'm higher.
And I'm still sick. Excuse me as I die on camera. Sorry. What did y'all watch this week? Birthday boy, Gogs.
I watched one thing, but I have 2 thoughts.
Ooh, 2 thoughts?
So, I watched, I watched Alien Romulus because I wanted to just keep this train a rolling.
Oh, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this because you know how I felt about
my one thought is actually kind of like in lockstep with your review of it, which is like the first half is like really good.
Excellent. Yeah, first half
hour. The first half is like really. I wouldn't even go. I'd go further than the first half hour. I would say up until the point where like they introduce like I don't like the fact that, I mean, I understand why. And it kind of makes sense that the Ash robot would look like Ash because all of the other robots look like their models, so I get it. But
it didn't have to be Ash. It could have just been another robot. Why did it have to
be incredibly confusing?
It wasn't actually
like
Ash.
At a consumer level.
No. I guess that's true. If all your if you go to like Walmart and you want a science officer bot, they should look like Ash. I get that.
Well, why couldn't it just be another kind of robot? Why did it have to be the Ash style robot? It could have been any fucking body.
Well, because it's another science officer. I guess. Listen, I know what they were doing. They were doing a lot of like I think it was your part of your complaint was remember this, and there was a lot of that. I don't like the way it ended. And then I don't necessarily. I have mixed opinions on bringing the Prometheus black goo back. I really don't care for the. Are you two going to watch this? I know.
I might at some point. I don't care if you spoil it though, because I'm not interested.
And I know that Alex not a big Aliens mark, so
I love
deport all of them.
Yeah,
I love Aliens. I don't love Aliens.
That's fair. So the whole bit, and it doesn't even really follow the same rules as Prometheus when the pregnant lady gets jammed up with the black goo, and then she gave birth to like an alien, like engineer hybrid ass looking dude. Like that was dumb. And
do people like the Prometheus or what's the other one after it was really crud up?
I liked Covenant more than Prometheus.
Yeah, so did I, but I mean, is it like, because usually when they do these kind of soft reboots, it's the kind of excise all the shit that people don't like, oh, everybody hates this shit, we'll push it off to the side, and then go.
I think Ridley Scott is like desperately trying to make us like it, so he's doing everything he can to like reinvent its relevance. But like,
did he produce this one?
He did.
Oh.
But like at the same time, like he was so cagey about is Prometheus really an Aliens prequel, and now it's like, of course it is. But like, why was he being so like mysterious about it? Like, just say yes, Queen, and then we can move on.
Ridley Scott sucks. Now, apparently, Gladiator 2 is really bad. By the way,
well,
the review embargo is off, and people are just lighting it up.
Embargo. So. That was my one thought. My one thought was I concur with TJ because I was halfway through the movie. I go, this ain't bad. Like it's visually fun. Like I like the plot. I like what they were going for, but they kind of lost the thread at the end. And my second thought is they lost the thread at the end because they did the exact. This movie is almost a shot for shot clone of Alien Resurrection. Like it's like people get on Space Laboratory with the wrong reasons. And then all hell breaks loose, and then alien-human hybrid happens at end. And it just loses all the good shit in the third act. And that's like, spoiler alert for my upcoming review for Alien Resurrection.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame because I think you'll agree that like the guy that plays the robot in the movie is really good.
He's so good.
I felt like the lead actress was really good.
She was great. Not for nothing, the cast of Alien Romulus, really good. Like, really solid. Like, especially Andy
you want to hear something
and Rain.
frustrating?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm dying. The lead actress who was also in Civil War, she played like the girl that was like the young reporter that wanted to tag along.
Dunst?
The scrappy dude to Kirsten Dunst.
The young one. So she was actually up for the role of Ellie in The Last of Us, and I'm like, why didn't you cast her? She's perfect. She would have.
Yeah, that'd been solid. Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, Bella Ramsey is fine, but like, I don't know. That I felt like, especially after watching Romulus.
Belladonna.
Or Bella.
She's still around.
Belladonna, yes. Everyone's
I've
around.
Seen a baseball bat go in that girl's butt.
Oh. Well, anywho. But yeah,
Speaking of baseball.
Speaking of baseball, September, Sean's birthday.
Anachronistic butthole stuff.
So, I think that Alien Romulus could have been really good. And then just sort of like I'm saying, they tried to shoehorn some stuff in there that was unnecessary. They tried to make it, and I think this was part of TJ's criticism, they tried to make it too much like, hey, remember when for everything else.
Absolutely.
And I love Alien, the greater Alien lore as much as anyone else, possibly more. Give me more of it.
Definitely more.
And much like the movie we're going to talk about, much like Alien Resurrection, this had a very Dark Horse comic, greater like universe kind of vibe to it. And like seeing the mining planet they lived on under the control of Weyland-Yutani, like seeing all this stuff, I thought that was super interesting. And like saying Andy was great, like the synthetic was great, the set, the scenery was great. It's just like the end just kind of. I even liked all the bits with the facehugger swarming because I've never seen that before, and that was kind of fun.
Weird. Of all the endings to emulate, you go with Resurrection, which is like objectively the worst ending of the four.
It is, Sean. It is a hybrid of Resurrection and the OG Alien. Like
so they have a Cody 2 in that one also.
Yes.
I mean, it also looks like the fucking
engineer from Prometheus. So here's what. So here goes Sean. Here goes spoiler alert.
Okay.
At some point, right? So here's and I love the way the movie started. The movie starts. It's 20 years after the first Alien, so Ripley is still floating around in space, lost because she's gone for 57 years, right? So the movie opens with a salvage vehicle going to the wreck of the Nostromo. And it plucks out of the wreckage basically it looks like a space rock that looks kind of goofy. And inside that space rock is like a space cocooned the alien that Ripley blew out of the airlock. And then they take it back to their science zone and they start dibble-dabbling with it and they like extract its DNA and then they use that to like 3D print face huggers. I don't know if I agree with that.
Like you did in Prometheus, kinda? Like that would it bring the thing back?
But then they also have the fucking black goo.
Does it kind of open like
Guys,
you remember the director's cut of Aliens where they have all that shit at the beginning with Newt's family and the fucking salvage vehicle and all that stuff? Is it like that?
No, well, it's in space, so it's like, but it's not.
Well, everything's in space, sir.
Well, that's true, but it's not like Weyland.
Not in there.
It's not like Weyland-Yutani's spacers that didn't know what they were getting to. It was like their scientists going specifically to get this alien. They weren't looking for survivors, right? So it was bad intentions. So now they bring it back, right? And then they extract its DNA, and then I guess they figure out how to make face huggers out of it. So fine, I'll give you that, I guess. But then the science robot Ash basically explains that they managed to distill the black goo from Prometheus out of its DNA, and that's become like literally Weyland-Yutani super soldiers, like super soldier serum. But like, so at some point, right, they see some evidence of a rat they had a special machine that just smashes rats. Like it's the one purpose of this machine, and it smashes this rat to smithereens. And then they inject it with the black goo, and then the rat comes back to life. Everybody's like, oh, okay, this will save this one girl who got like a breathing neck wound, and she's also pregnant. They don't, You don't see the fact that the rat actually turned into like an alien monster hybrid. Anywho, but it does the exact same thing in Prometheus, where a pregnant person got black gooed, and then that goo made their baby a monstrosity. But it's not even the same monstrosity that you had in Prometheus. Like, it's not even consistent.
It's
like
stupid.
Because what's her name, Numi Rakeface or whatever, gave birth to like a giant like face hugger squid, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, this movie could have been really good.
You're doing the opposite of the Gogs, where you normally talk me into a bad movie. Like, you're kind of talking me out of it every time you say something.
I mean, the movie's not very good.
Like the first half is really good. The first half is really good.
But like the rest of it
makes it worse that the second half sucks. Like,
yeah, the second half is really bad. And I'm sorry, but all the like,
Bowl. Like, it's awful.
It's the Democratic presidential campaign.
The first Falcons Super Bowl with the Dirty Bird.
Yeah.
No,
and the Broncos.
They lost by a trillion.
You know who the head coach of that Falcons team was, don't you?
Dan Reeves?
Dan Quinn, current.
Oh no! I thought. Wait, which one are we talking about?
I think the first Falcons. Dan Quinn wasn't alive for the first Falcons Super Bowl.
Oh, I thought Gogs was talking about the Patriots.
I was talking about the Patriots one.
That's what Gogs was talking about. I was like, never mind.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I'm doing great
football
with the
watching.
Sorry, Dad.
I'm doing the best I can.
But you're talking about the Deion Sanders Falcons football team?
No, he wasn't on the Falcons
then. Super Bowl from like 95.
It was the Simpsons one. It was the Denver Broncos, the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamal Anderson and Chris Chandler and Terrence Mathis ?
Terrence Malick.
They're all pro safety.
Terrence Malick.
They're all pro safety. Got arrested for soliciting a prostitute the night before the Super Bowl.
Leroy Butler.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey yo. Anyway. So that's enough Falcons chat.
Hopefully the prostitute was of legal age, unlike Lawrence Taylor's prostitutes.
My favorite Lawrence Taylor bit is where he bought the crack off that cop because he said he was bugging him too much. Like, he bought it just to get left alone.
That's entrapment.
Dude, my guy was doing blow at the game, like at halftime.
Well, he wanted to die on the field. That was like what he wanted to do.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's what you want out of your players. You want to fucking put it all out there.
Isn't it? I don't know if you want him to die.
I hope you don't want any more Super Bowls.
Right. Yeah. Anything else?
No, that was the one thing I watched. I just watched the shit out of it. Sean.
Oh, fuck. I watched two movies.
Two movies?
The first one was Kyle Gallner vehicle, Dinner in America.
I need to watch that.
Is an excellent movie. I'm sorry?
Never mind.
Oh my God.
Did you say Wendy's?
Oh, Wendy's?
Oh, like in Wendy's. You would have dinner in America.
What the fuck?
You don't go to Wendy's?
God, when you hit 40, I hate 44 years old, did you just have like an aneurysm? Like, what is happening right now?
Like, are your white New Balances taking over you like a fucking symbiote now? Like, have you gone like full dad tard?
We are dad tard.
I do have several pairs of white New Balances. I'm sorry, continue.
No, that's fine. Yes, it's like, Wendy's.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Megalopolis' fucking torrent just hit the internets. I know.
I thought you were gonna say he got nominated for Best Picture.
No. Hell yeah.
So
anyway,
when's the last time anybody's even been to a fucking Wendy's? Like,
a hot take. Wendy's is my least favorite fast food chain. I
thought
Wendy's.
It was everybody's except Florida. There's more Wendy's in Florida than any other state.
But don't you guys have Steak and Shake? Those are good.
Yeah. There's Steak and Shake in fucking Old Mill, bro.
Yeah, but that's like the only one up here.
We love Steak and Shake.
There was one off of 97 that closed down. I was only there for like a year.
I think that's where
that's what I was talking about. Is that gone already?
Yeah.
By the Royal Farms?
It's gone.
Fuck.
It's a drive-through dispensary now.
Hell yeah.
It's a shake and bake.
The Wendy's.
God, that's how you do a dinner joke, by the way.
That's dignity. The Wendy's in Eldersburg. What did it get shut down for? Anthrax?
Yeah. What? It's probably anthrax.
Didn't he get shut down for something stupid?
I mean, it got shut down. I think it was just like a health department violation. Like,
no, please say it was anthrax.
That's why I never go to Wendy's. I was like, that one in Eldersburg had anthrax. I'm not going.
Give me a hot and juicy with some anthrax on the side. Oh, good Lord.
People like dipping their fries in a frosty, but you dip them in anthrax.
Dip it in some anthrax. Really gives it that extra tang. Oh, man. Jesus
oh, my God.
All right. Dinner in America.
Yeah. So
I want to watch this movie. I've been meaning to watch this movie for weeks.
I think I texted it to TJ. It's like Ghost World meets Welcome to the Dollhouse meets SLC Punk, which if you like those movies,
I like
you'll
all three
love
of those
this.
movies.
If you don't like those movies, you'll not like it. And titularly, it does have a lot of dinner table scenes, which I always love in movies, like Eraserhead and National Lampoon's Christmas. There's just something about shooting around the dinner table, those interactions that I always find like compelling. But that's really good. I also watched the Hulu original ? Movie, directed by Jared Carmichael, the comedian, called On the Count of Three.
Okay.
It's about two dudes. One is in a mental hospital. One just got a shitty job, and they resolve to kill themselves by shooting each other in the face at the end of the day.
Oh my God.
And it's very like darkly comedic, but it's also sad and kind of poignant. It's like kind of like a Safdie light movie, if I can describe it that way.
I'm into that. You said that was on Hulu?
Yeah, it's on Hulu. Big recommend for both of them. Dinner in America, I feel like mileage may vary, because it is like a love story.
It's about a girl that's like obsessed with like a punk rocker, right?
Yeah. And Kyle Gallner, that guy fucking rules. He should be in everything. He was the guy in Strange Darling.
Yeah, that guy's fucking great. You talk about a second half of his career. I say it every time I bring it up. You guys gotta watch The Passenger. That movie is so fucking good. And he's so good in it.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed both of those movies.
And the other one was called, what was it? I'm sorry.
On the Count of Three.
On the Count of Three.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. Both those sound good.
Right. Alec.
Oh, okay.
Did you watch anything related to Wendy's?
Or Anthrax?
No. I did watch a bunch of Anthrax music videos, though.
Hell yeah.
Oh, speaking of, sorry to cut you off, not tangentially related, I saw a TikTok of Flavor Flav with Jason Sudeikis, and they were doing Bring the Noise, and Jason Sudeikis was stiffly doing Chuck D's part, and it was the most uncomfortable shit ever, because it's like this very, like militantly pro-black song, and him doing it, I'm like, bro, this is not your lane, you look stupid.
Yeah,
I saw that same video, and I loved it. So.
Oh my God.
Different strokes, different folks. So I watched 4 movies I've already seen, and one I did not see. The 4 movies that I watched that I've already seen and talked about, probably at great length. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, banger. Old School, banger. Zoolander, double banger. Yes. Anchorman 2, bleh.
Ooh, that one's never rough.
Oh, I'm an Anchorman 2 apologist. I like it.
That's crazy. I tried to watch. That was like a 4-time sit for me. Like I kept turning it off and kept going back to it.
I've seen it 2 or 3 times now. And I think one time was with Gogs. And I was like, oh, it's not that bad. But I think it was just because I was with Gogs that I thought it was better.
Yeah, that makes it better.
Yeah.
We enjoyed laughing together. Like, there's
Gogs is a tastemaker.
But overall, like, that character wears very thin. The only part I really enjoyed was the big news team battle with like all the channels. Will Smith.
They do that in the first one too.
They did.
Yeah, that's only like 3 or 4. And this one is like the cable news. There's like 15 different teams. Like
I don't
teams
think I've seen this movie.
This is the one that has. Leslie Knope and Tina Fey show up, right?
Yeah.
Eat pussy? You're gonna.
Yep. Yeah, it's like Will Smith is the leader of the ESPN sports team, sports news. Sacha Baron Cohen's in the BBC. I forget who else shows up, but that's the only fun part of the movie where they're all fighting to the death. The last movie I watched, which is one of the most interesting movies I've ever seen, and very strange. Interesting. But also I kind of liked it, but it's very weird. It's definitely a choice. Sasquatch Sunset.
Oh, I've been hearing about this movie. Okay. Did you like it? There's no dialogue, right?
I did like. There's not a word in the whole movie. I liked it. It's very weird though. If you're not in the right frame of mind, you might hate this movie. Just not you or anybody in particular, but I can see where some people might hate it and not quite get it. It's very strange though.
Is it actually about Sasquatch?
Yep.
Okay.
4 Sasquatches in the Pacific Northwest, and it follows a year in their lives. Jesse Eisenberg is one of the Sasquatches.
I love Jesse Eisenberg.
Riley Keough is one of the Sasquatches.
Oh my God.
And the other two, I don't know who the other two were. They're people that I didn't recognize their names.
You burnt other 2 Sasquatches.
It's really, it's really hard to describe. It's an insane movie, but also it's very endearing and charming and emotionally moving at points.
I like Gogs.
Who made it? It sounds like what the Daniels would do. Who made it?
Lee Daniels?
The guys that did Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, I know.
Lee Daniels.
I got the joke.
I don't know who Lee Daniels is. I was just being sincere. Now, who made it?
David Zellner.
Not familiar.
Nah, he looks like he's as a director. He's known for. Oh, he directed a couple episodes of the Curse show that TJ liked.
Oh, I love that show. Loved it.
Oh, 15 years ago, he made a movie short called Sasquatch Birth Journal.
I've seen this. Looking at this guy's face,
Sasquatch.
I feel like he's been in stuff too. Maybe not. His face looks very familiar. Oh, hey, Gox. He worked on Red vs. Blue. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I love
Red vs. Blue. He was in The Art of Self-Defense as an actor.
Oh, I love that.
He played a character named Henry.
I love that movie. I don't remember Henry, but he's probably one of the people at the dojo. Was such a fucking gem, that movie. I really want to watch this Sasquatch movie though.
It's fucking wild.
I forgot all about it.
It's under an hour and a half. It's an hour and 28. I really did. I did enjoy it. I thought it was a really good movie, but it's fucking weird. And at points, it's tonally, it is all over the place, but in a good way. There are parts that are very endearing, parts that are very moving emotionally, parts that are just ridiculous and slapstick hilarious. But I would definitely recommend it. I'm looking at it on IMDb. It's got a 5.5 out of 10, which is not great. But I thought it was. People do suck.
TJ, he played in Art of Self-Defense. He plays the blue belt guy that hangs himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Great movie.
But yeah, I would recommend it. I'd give it the old watch.
Oh yeah.
Apparently it received many walkouts during its world premiere at Sundance.
It received many walkouts. This is bonkers.
I love that. I'm definitely I got a lot of movies to watch because I want to watch both the one Sean said and this Sasquatch movie, which I forgot about.
I'm glad I watched it because it's going to probably be on my list this year.
Hell yeah.
That is all. I started Agatha, and so far, we're 4 episodes in. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I might have to go back, back and check it out.
I've seen a bunch of stuff on TikTok about it, but I haven't really seen much if people liked it or not. But I enjoyed it. I think it's good.
I mean, I saw the initial the initial flurry of fucking incels that said it was bad because it's full of women, but I didn't actually hear any real criticism of this show. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah,
it's just like, okay, guys, we
the
get
multi-billion-dollar media conglomeration is woke.
Yeah, like, Jesus Christ, get a fucking life, man. Like, touch grass, like, for real. Like, just go outside.
Touch a tit once, like, with consent.
You know what? That will change your life.
Yeah.
Like, no fooling.
Touching it. Big day for me.
Yeah. You know, that's a good initiative. I think that's what we need to instigate, the consensually touch a tit initiative. I think we would fix a lot of incels.
Yeah.
Just remember exactly where you were. It's like a happy 9/11.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, it is definitely a holy experience.
It is.
It's wonderful. And you know what? The magic doesn't go away all these years later. Still wonderful.
Still awesome every single time.
It's like watching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. It's great.
What's the
great? And it gets all that, all these fucking people on the internet that are all mad at women, like, it all just go away. It doesn't matter how many years they're pissed off on fucking 4chan on Kiwi farms. As soon as they touch a tit, just melt away like it was never there. Anyway.
All right. Anyway, TJ.
Peace and love. I always remember this clip of Ringo Starr. They used to play on Howard Stern, and he's like, I want y'all to stop sending me things. He's like, I'm saying this with peace and love, but please stop. It's so funny. Anyway, I watched one thing, but it's astounding, and I really deeply, like, it might be my birthday pick next year, because I really like everybody to watch it. I watched 2024's Look Back. It's an animated film based on a manga by Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man. But it is not like Chainsaw Man at all. Look Back is a story about these two girls that are both, I mean, like, young girls. They're in middle school when the movie starts. But they both, they draw, comic books for their school paper. And the one girl's doing it, and she's like the best, like, manga artist in the school. And then there's this, like, recluse that never comes to school, but she wanted to try to be a manga artist, and her stuff is way better. And it causes the first girl to feel like, this girl's so much better than me, and why even bother? And anyway, they meet, and you find out that the recluse, the whole reason she got into comics is because of the other one, and that spurs on this lifelong friendship between the two of them. And the whole movie is about kind of creativity and friendship, and I don't want to give the whole movie away, but it's also kind of bittersweet. And the whole movie is animated absolutely beautifully. I think the animation is some of the best animation I've seen this year. And it's a very simple story. It's not grandiose. There's no explosions. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no action set pieces. It's just this really touching, beautiful story. And the best part, this whole thing, it's 58 minutes long.
Fuck yeah.
And the version it was on Amazon Prime. I think it's off of Amazon Prime now. It was like for some reason, I think they only put it up there for like 2 days. But the version that's on the Plex that you guys can watch is in English, so you don't even have to worry about subtitles. This is, I personally love anime, but I know it's not for everybody. Sometimes it's a bridge too far for some people. This is the perfect animated film for somebody that's not into anime, because it really doesn't have any of the anime tropes, any of the anime bullshit. It's just this really touching story about, like I said, like, creativity and, like, loving art and friendship and where that kind of takes you, and a friendship that eventually kind of splits apart. I don't know. I thought it was
everything should
incredible.
Be animated.
Well, and I thought that to tell the story that this movie tells, and we talk about it every week, but every movie, right, could be cut down. Every movie is like, it's too fucking long. Every movie is bloated in some certain way. This movie is like razor thin. Like, this movie gets to the fucking point, and it's just, I thought it was amazing.
what is it? On Baku's like 49 minutes or something. Like it's somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh,
on Gaku.
The music one. I love that movie. Yeah. That's another one. That's a great fucking movie. But yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend Look Back. To me, animated film of the year, and it's probably going to make my top 10. I mean, I thought it was absolutely astounding. And I'm a huge fan of Fujimoto. I love Chainsaw Man, and I love the Chainsaw Man anime, but I felt like this movie did a better job at kind of synthesizing his artwork. Like, this looks more like his artwork than Chainsaw Man, and I love his artwork. Like,
the manga is not like a shonen thing, right? Like, it's just regular.
No. You mean Look Back?
Yeah.
No, Look Back was just a one shot. It was published through Shonen because I think he's.
But it wasn't like a weekly Shonen like.
No. It was I mean, in American comic book parlance, it was a one shot. Right. It was just a single story kind of thing. But it's really, really good. And it's, again, it wouldn't be Fujimoto if it wasn't a little sad, because that guy loves fucking sadness. But it's fucking excellent, and I loved it. And it's, like I said, this is one of those movies that I hope, it's been getting a little bit of buzz, like, with critics that I don't usually see talk about anime. This is a movie that, like, I think everyone needs to watch. Like, I think if you generally like animated films and like Pixar stuff, you know what I mean? But you want something that's not necessarily like, I mean, a kid could watch this movie. There's literally nothing like awful in it. But like, this is definitely a movie for adults. I thought it was brilliant. I really did. And again, it takes 58 minutes of your time. Like, I can't recommend it enough. It's a fucking masterpiece. So yeah, Look Back. Definitely check it out. I loved it. Loved it. I'd be shocked if everyone on the show didn't like it. But yeah, that's all I watched. So that's everybody, right?
Yep.
All right, let's get on to Alien Resurrection.
Oh, I wanted to get a goof out of the way that I texted Gogs about that I knew he would be mad about, and it turned out was incredibly mad about. Gogs, do you want to talk about it in your opening?
Yeah. I mean, so at some point they're talking about like where things, like, I forget who says it, whether it's General Perez. I think it's General Perez. Talks about
Dan Hidea's character.
Dan Hidea, yeah.
Shout out.
R.I.P. Dan Hidea.
Dan Hidea's a real one.
Dude, I love that guy.
He refers to Fury 16. It's Fury 161. Fucking get it right. I got
close enough.
Sean sent that to me. He's like, I forget what you said. You're like got a little on the chip about that. I was like, I was irrationally mad. Like, I yelled at the TV.
It's like, watch the other movie. If you're going to reference it.
It's in the universe, and it happened immediately before this. So
the planet in Alien 3 is called Fiorina 161. The inmates call it Fury 161. In this movie, they refer to it as Fiore 16.
Yeah, it's just, maybe it's because he's French. Maybe they
hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Yeah, God. Anyway, the movie opens.
As most movies.
As movies are wont to
do. You are immediately confronted with this level of CGI that's in this movie, because oh my God,
this is a movie that suffers greatly from being in high definition.
Oh yeah, it looks like
if this was on a DVD on a CRT, it would not be nearly as fucking distracting.
Before we get into the movie proper, Gogs, did you watch this on some method that wasn't the Plex?
I watched it on Disney Plus.
So I think if you watched it on the Plex like I did, I think we watched the director's cut. So there might be some, so did the version you watch, there was a pilot that squished like an alien bug? Was that in the normal version? Okay, so yeah, there you go. That's director's cut.
There's a pilot. Wait, what pilot? What are you talking about?
He's in like a.
That's his point.
Oh
yeah,
there's a pilot.
Not the sexy lady pilot.
No, definitely not a sexy lady pilot or sexy lady pirate.
Oh my lord!
There's the version. Oh, sorry, Alec, go ahead.
Look, there's a pilot like piloting the ship, and like a little bug. It's not like a fly, but anachronistic to a fly.
It's a callback.
Alex, did your version open up with like a close-up of fangs where it looks like a xenomorph and it pulls out and it's an insect of some sort?
No, it did not. It opened up.
I didn't remember that until I was okay.
That's
so
in the director.
It opened up with some sort of tube and
some kind of tube.
Ripley. Also, real quick,
we technically watched a different version of the movie.
All right. Well, you tell me where I'm wrong, and we'll just go.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that until I looked at the runtime and it was slightly longer. I was like, oh, oops.
I have it in the quadrilogy, but I couldn't be bothered to fucking put the disc in.
I also have it in the quadrilogy, but yes.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
None of this matters. So the version I watched opened up with basically the science tubes and them making a fresh Ripley, just in goop, and then you're at whatever. They're not on a space station. I guess they're on a spaceship. I always thought it was a space station, but
potato. I mean, it functions as both.
Right, and in the space whatever, you've got what's his name? The Bradley Cooper. No, Dorff. Bradley Dorff.
No, yeah. Brad Dourif. Isn't that his name?
Dourif.
Yeah.
Yes. He's
Chucky.
sitting there and he's
daughter's smoking hot.
Worm tongue for
Worm
Alec.
tongue, yes. Yeah. He's sitting there using one of those claw games to make an alien come out of Ripley's chest, and and they put it in their special alien tube. And
he's one of my favorite parts of this movie, by the way.
So this movie is
so much
it's very character actor heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I was texting this to Sean as well. This movie is very Dark Horse. If you've read I have all the Aliens Dark Horse omnibuses, for better or for worse.
Omnibuy.
Omnibussy.
Who's trying to get their omnibussy read?
Ooh, me. So this is, like I'm saying, there's tonal things in the omnibuses, Bussy, that are very
wet. This movie's real wet.
It's also
this is a wet movie.
It's very sinister. It's very cruel. It's very dark. But then
it's
the other thing,
like almost comedically evil in parts and dark.
Yeah. But the other thing that this movie is very, and it was made in '97. This movie is very Attitude Era, and it's just everything is just edgy and quippy.
But you guys, while we all watched Delicatessen on the show, I feel like whatever his name is, Jean-Paul Genet, I feel like he is incapable of making like violence that isn't kind of silly.
He is like wholly unserious as a human being, I think.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like he's kind of the wrong fit for this movie because like I don't think he knows how to make violence that's like he's not Jim Cameron, you know what I mean? Like or Ridley Scott, where it's like everything in this movie is kind of silly, and I'll spoil it. I'll jump ahead. It's kind of what I like about the movie.
Yeah,
like it's kind of goofy.
There are weird there's like weird comedic beats in this movie.
Yeah,
and there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want about like the Alien movies, but they kind of do what I wish the Marvel movies would do is like they give it to a director and just be like, just make your movie, unless you're David Fincher, then they redo it. But like, they're all four movies, even though they share a lot of similarities, are all very tonally different.
Yeah, the first one's Jaws, the second one's Vietnam, the third one is, I don't know how you would describe the Fincher one. It's like a horror movie.
It's a prison.
It's like a prison movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's got, like, I think it's got the most, between that and the first one has the most horror elements.
It's the most, like, stripped down since, I guess the first one. But even more so, because there's, like, not really any tech. Anyway, we're going to get, like, way off topic.
Yeah.
Sorry. Continue.
So now we're here. So they got themselves a queen, and they're putting her in, like, their queening chamber, and Brad Dourif's just, like, wet for it. So now, they get, they're like, oh, Ripley's still alive. So it's Ellen Ripley, right? The protagonist from all of the previous films. And, they're like, oh, might as well keep her around as a pet. Because why not at this point? More on that later. So then...
These motherfuckers do too much. They got too many side quests.
They got a lot of side quests. And like the one they kept alive, like is there like a goofy, like a goof 'em up queen somewhere that's like also there, like a number 7? We don't know. So anyway, so now they're teaching Ripley English again.
This seems like a terrible idea, by the way.
Right, to teach, like, they can kind of like, they're full-blown scientists, right? So they must know, like, they've drawn, so okay, pause. Now I'm gonna poke holes in this thing, literal and figurative. Like, when they cut her open to get the alien queen out of her, did her blood at that point not be like acid? Like, should they have been like, oh, snap? Like,
probably don't care. They've got some other nefarious purpose.
I mean, we don't know no better.
Like, the whole point of them keeping her alive is like their like crazy ambition, right? Like they keep on. It's the Ian Malcolm thing, right? Like
it's all about shoulda or coulda, not shoulda or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
They kept her alive just for funzos, like as a goof.
I don't think so. I think like they kept her alive as a scientific curiosity. Because they understood. Yeah.
Also, you have this like walking weapon now, and it's like, hey, let's teach it to do more stuff. Let's make it more competent than it already is. That seems like an awful idea.
Let's teach it basketball.
Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Take the criminals and then hook them up to a machine that teaches them everything.
It's kind of like what's her name from The Fifth Element. Like she's fresh out the gate, and now she's got like super intellect. But then Ellen Ripley has all her memories.
We lost Alex somehow.
Out.
He'll come back, hopefully.
He's like, I haven't watched Fifth Element.
And then Dan Hedaya is like, I don't know what you want to do, but this lady killed all the aliens 200 years ago. I don't want to do her old things. And then it's like, okay, thank you, Dan Hedaya.
But
pretty solid Dan Hedaya. Right,
it's not bad. I'm not gonna lie, and that's not an impression people take out for a walk very often.
People, it's a lightly used Hedaya.
Dude, Dan Hedaya rocks. Like
Dan Hedaya in Blood Simple is like one of my favorite performances ever.
I kind of wish he was in this movie more because like every time he's on screen, like he's so good in this movie.
And I love Michael Wincott.
Oh, yes, we don't deserve Michael Wincott. Like he is just.
I wish Michael Wincott was the Jesus Christ, the fucking I can't think of it, Hellboy, Ron Perlman character. I wish they switched.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I could have done
Perlman in it.
It is funny that they have a blood pack in this movie too, or blood chinois, or whichever one was in Blade 2.
So anyway,
I think Del Toro is involved in this movie somehow. Like he was a production assistant.
Oh,
that's how he met. That's how he met Perlman. Like I couldn't find it anywhere, but I remember
credited.
I think I read it in an interview where he was some kind of production assistant or something, and he was involved in this movie in some capacity because that's how he met. That's how him and Perlman became friends.
Well, the movie was written by one Joss Whedon.
Well, you know the funny thing is, guys,
that's not entirely correct. He punched up the script. This is one of those movies that has 700.
Apparently, the only thing that remains from any draft Joss Whedon did is the part everybody hates.
Yeah. Because at one point, it could be wrong, but Sean, you can back me up on this. Wasn't William Gibson credited as writing some of this?
That's Alien 3. So 3 was supposed to be they crash land on Earth, and Hicks and Newt and Ripley fight the aliens on Earth. But there's actually they made like a audible like audio drama of that script with Michael Biehn.
Really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, that's the one.
Michael Bihn's voice is actually in. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Anywho, so now Ripley is being taught about fruit and sex and basketball,
as you
like that movie for fruit and basketball, and then
everybody's favorite movie.
Meanwhile, Michael Wincott and his merry band of pirates show up with a fresh batch of Humies. One
guy that just rolled straight out of fucking what is the City of Lost Children? Like he literally rolled his wheelchair straight out of that movie.
It's the guy from Delicatessen.
Yeah. And the guy from City of Lost Children. He's in every one of his best movies. Whatever. I forget what that guy's name is. Does not matter. But he's in a wheelchair, and then you've got.
He also has a hilarious. Like his English is his voice is so funny. I don't know.
Acting in this movie is all over the shop, by the way. Some of it's really good. Go ahead.
Did anybody else feel like this movie, like the acting, it felt like old, like cutscenes from video games? Because everybody's like everyone's acting as if they don't speak English. Like they don't. This
might be a function of a director that doesn't speak English. Or doesn't speak it well. Yeah, it's all like Command and Conquer Red Alert level acting. Gary Dujardin, or whatever his name is, the guy from CSI or NCIS or whatever, he is fucking atrocious. Like, he's so bad.
But it felt like Sukiyaki Western Django. Like, I know Winona Ryder speaks English, but like not the way in which she did.
You remember how Tig Notaro was green screened into that Zack Snyder movie?
Yes.
How could I?
It felt like everybody was green screened in this movie, like and composited separately.
Yeah, this whole movie's wild. Anyway, so Michael Wincott shows up and he's just owning every scene because he rules.
Yeah, how did that guy not have a bigger career?
I don't know.
Guy was awesome.
It's inappropriate.
He's probably too busy busting nuts to be in movies.
He's just the best.
Yeah.
So he shows up with his pirates, and they've got people on ice, and one of their pirates is Hellboy, and one of their pirates is the guy from CSI, and one of the pirates is Winona Ryder. And then there's a lady with that ass, who's also
that's
one
fantastic.
of the pilots.
Yeah, I love Winona, but she is awful in this movie.
She's not,
but she is but she is incredibly hot in this movie.
Oh, no doubt.
I'll give her that.
I mean, like, shout out to Winona Ryder B plot, because it's also kind of a fun, like, dark horsey, like.
Before we get to ask you if that's in the comics, because like this like weird Philip K. Dick plot about robots that make other robots that worship Jesus just shows up like minutes before the movie ends. It's like, well, you can't like calm down. Like,
well, and also it felt like Blade Runner too, because they're like, oh, your line got discontinued, and I'm like, wait. Like,
also we gotta point this out.
Your boy Tuco or whatever. Fucking trading him at shit. He's in there yelling this at the top of his lungs about these robots.
He got like all bricked up about that in the middle of a crisis. Like things are everyone
I just want Shaw to know every time I see that guy, I just do the
I got my shit pushed in. Yeah. That's all I can think of.
That's all I can think of. That guy has been in 1,000 movies.
Clowny. Spooky, it's some fun gang name. Anyway, now where were we? So now, all right. So they brought the people aboard. The
you pushed it. My shit pushed.
The pirates are like, hey, can we just hang out for 2 days, get some gear? Here's some actual cash dollars. Have a whiskey cube. That sounds good. Feel free to roam around our spaceship. The pirates find their way into the space
real quick, I don't know if you mentioned it, but they are ostensibly members of the U.S. Army. Still exist. They're not Colonial Marine, just the U.S. Army conducting these experiments like extrajudiciously in international space water.
So, on top of all that,
Weyland-Yutani got bought by Walmart.
Well, Weyland, this is now. Let's talk. And I was texting this to the group too. Like, Ellen Ripley's consciousness has spanned the better part of 200 years. But as far as she's concerned from waking up, she's just had a real shitty, month. Like, she wakes up on the Nostromo. The plot of that resolves itself in, let's call it 3 Earth days. She goes to sleep and gets frozen. She wakes up 57 years later, right? She gets a job at the docks for a week and a half, and then Paul Reiser's like, "Hey, come out to LV
421?
Nope.
Come out to the coast.
Have a couple of laughs.
Have a few laughs.
The fact that I can't remember that is gonna fucking irk me, especially since I'm mad about the Fury 161 thing. Anywho, she goes to Hadley's Hope. She has a shitty week there.
LV 426, Gogs.
The LV 426. So she It's a shake and bake colony. So she's been awake now for, let's say, 3 weeks. She has fought this alien over the course of 57 years, twice now. She goes back to sleep. I think she wakes up maybe the next day on Fury 161. She gets to spend a week there fighting the aliens. She throws herself into molten lead only to be genetically revived 200 years later for another bad day and a half. Like, this woman has been through it, yes.
She probably doesn't remember throwing herself in the lava because there's some lip service about how they had her blood on ice somewhere, so I'm assuming she would have, what's his name? The
so
Doctor Who guy? Christopher Eccleston? Yeah, I would assume so. Christopher Eccleston would have drawn her blood, and they would have cloned it from that, so she may not remember the events of that entirely.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was going to say,
not that that's important.
Where,
like, who
there's a line
could give a fuck, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well, she knew it was a queen that was in her, so she at least knew that much. So you're right. It could have been when whatever Lannister was scanned her chest. And
she also has some kind of genetic connection to the aliens now anyway.
Yeah, she's like telepathic now.
The aliens have a psychic connection to each other anyway, and since she got...
Whoa. How is that from the comics?
That is canon. That is canon. That's how
you know what's wild? And, you know, besides the comics, we've had these for 4 movies, these aliens. And, like, we basically know nothing about them, and that's still, like, super scary. Nobody knows where they come from. Nobody knows if they really eat. Like, they use humans as hosts, but, like, what do they eat? Do they go to sleep? Are they afraid? Like, maybe they're afraid of fire or something. You know what I mean? Like, and the aliens by themselves stay scary because they're fast and you don't know what they are and they can do just about anything and you can't, like, it's a lesson to every other horror movie that wants to over-explain, and I'm sure, like Gog says in the comic books, they over-explain everything about them.
I know where their home
that's
world
what makes
is.
Prometheus
I know
so
what
shitty.
their natural predators are.
Yeah.
And yes, they communicate psychically, and then much like, I don't know, sort of the gene cults in Warhammer, they have means of, like,
thank you for
psychically controlling humans.
Thank you for explaining esoteric lore with even more esoteric lore. That's very helpful.
You know, the gene cults in 40K, yeah.
So anyway...
You could just say they're like bees. Like, I understand bees.
Just shaking their butts and sending out signals. So she got Seth Brundled into being part woman, part alien. So now she has a psychic connection to the Queen, which is also part Ripley. So now her spidey sense of tingling because the aliens in what I think is so much like I said about Romulus, the first half of this movie kind of slaps. It's a little edgy. It's a little too look at me, I'm in your face. But
she dunks very thunderously in that fucking scene, by the way. It is highly unnecessary.
Yeah, she didn't have to go that hard on him. But, like, if she, like,
it looks like when Dave Chappelle dunks as Prince
from the
Chappelle show. He just, like, hovers above the rim and it just, like, stays there for a few seconds.
Yeah. So, anyway, so now she's flexing on them.
Pause.
And then,
real quick, I'm sorry. I hate to pause you because we're getting nowhere. But I do appreciate that they have the lucite backboard. Like, Alec will remember this. You remember in Star Trek when they'd have cymbals for drums, but to make it the future, they would be like clear plastic for whatever reason? That's this backboard.
Absolutely.
So I skipped over the scene where, and it's a horrific scene, but it's really cool. And it's also very Dark Horse comicsy, where it just shows, like, just the total disregard for human life that the people in power have, where they're basically intentionally exposed. The cargo on the ship that the pirates got were miners going to a mining colony, and they were in hypersleep. They woke up out of hypersleep just to be face down, ass up in front of a alien egg, and they get face hugged. And then
I thought that scene was pretty cool. I thought
that scene is cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool scene. Like, in the scene where Brad Dourif's got the aliens in the little chamber and he's teaching them not to get froze, like, that's cool
he's a quick learner.
And then when the 2 aliens are like, hey, we can puzzle our way through this, and they use their one boy to melt their way out, and then when the dude gets flash frozen, it's a little edgy, but that's kind of fun.
Like also bad like operational security with these scientists, like knowing that they have acid blood or maybe they're totally unaware of acid blood in general, like to Goggs' point, because it's like there had to be a contingency for this happening.
Well, right, so they had like they made the walls alien proof, but they didn't make the floor alien proof. So,
the thing they stand on.
And then later, demonstrating an evolving power set, one of the aliens spits acid,
and it looks so real.
It looks so real, and it doesn't look. It's never happened before in a previous. So maybe they learned that from Ripley. Anyway, so now the aliens are loose, and we get a nice chaotic scene of that. They're sending their lifeboats out.
The xenomorphs look great when they are in behind glass and it's kind of dark and they're just like...
And they were practical.
Soaked, yeah.
Right. The problem is the CGI ones look like dog shit. So now, there's a scene that lives rent-free in my head to this day where, it doesn't help that we just watch it, but I was there before, where all the soldiers get into a lifeboat and then an alien jumps in and then it just it's slaughter. And it's nuts, and then Dan Hedaya bocce balls a grenade into it and salutes it away, and then he gets a lobotomy from an alien doing the old double jaw.
What is the functional range of the transmitter for this grenade?
I mean, I questioned that myself because I was like, my man's letting this hang for a minute, but it is 200 years in the future from the first movie, so I gotta say it's good.
This is a hand-thrown projectile. This presupposes that you can throw this thing 3 miles.
Right, but I think it's also, I mean, functionally, maybe the idea is that you could plant it somewhere and not just chuck it. If we're gonna poke holes in the movie, the distance, the effective range of the remote, fair enough. So anyway, Dan Hedaya gets brains. Now he's gone. So now the pirates have a shootout with what's left of the guard contingent. It's a pretty dope shootout. The one guy from CSI has his taxi driver gun hands. And
anytime this happens in a movie, I fucking pop for it. I love the fucking wrist rail gun in everything.
Yeah. Meanwhile, when Winona Ryder's sort of exposed to be sort of a triple agent or whatever, they're I don't know what she's supposed to be doing here. She fakes being drunk. I think they didn't know she was a robot, right?
No, nobody knows.
Nobody knew she was a robot.
She's a robot. So now...
Her with the boxing gloves in the cup is pretty cute, though.
It's adorable, but it's a weird beat, right?
Yeah.
It's a very much...
Well, the whole movie is just full of weird beats. It's a weird movie.
Well, the basketball hooper futurized with the boxing gloves are still just plain ass red.
Just regular basketball gloves.
Yeah, regular basketball gloves.
Basketball gloves.
Also, God, I'm surprised you didn't pop for the thermos shotgun.
The thermos shotgun is dope. Ron Perlman's thermos shotgun's wild. It also contained booze that was hard to come by. The French guy is in his wheelchair stealing light bulbs and then assembles a double-barrel pump-action shotgun. I won't get into what that's about. And then shoots at some aliens and gets melted at.
They do spend a good, 3 minutes discussing the benefits of disposable weapons in the middle of a crisis that's, very out of place and weird.
So hold on. I gotta circle back real quick to something that bothered me about the movie. So this alien blood, right, will, literally drip through, steel, right?
Yeah, why didn't it go through his whole head?
It should go through his whole fucking face, shouldn't it?
Well,
maybe it's a volume thing?
It's a volume thing. It nicked his ear. It's it'll eventually stop. It doesn't melt forever.
I mean, it could keep going all the way through the ship, just dripping floor to floor until it creates a hole in the hull.
Well, I thought that's what it did. In Romulus, for example, that's what they fucking...
Well, in Romulus, it's a volume issue. In Alien, they chase it down all the way to the lower deck, and then they touch it with a pencil when it's become inactive. So,
okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, they did explain it in that.
They did explain it in that. Concentrate acid for blood. So now, they're all right, we gotta get to the Betty. And then, also, I think the same name of the ship as Event Horizon. I think it's also the Betty. So, anyway, Michael Wincott's running around, and he is just a sucker for a gun. So he just goes traipsing around, and he sees a an absent firearm in the middle of the hallway. And he's like, well, I want to get that. And he goes and gets it. And then he goes and sees another one. And that
I love your Wincott, by the way. It's so good.
It's good. It's very good.
That becomes his Waterloo because he gets ripped through the ground.
Once again, the
mall has become my Waterloo.
He gets like spined and half ate.
Yeah, he gets it bad, but it's still kind of funny.
It is. And then...
Especially when Ripley turks him.
Well, Ripley then... So the pirates are different in different places. Ripley has been left in her cage. She uses her own blood to short out wires to go through an access hatch, and then she explodes out of Michael Wincott into an alien's face, and now she's part of the crew. So you've got the one side, Brad Dourif. Oh, sorry. So one guy gets iced to death. Another scientist gets killed. Brad Dourif gets like his head yanked and just taken off screen, right? Meanwhile, the other scientist guy, Evans or something, is there, and they run into Ding Chavez, aka Joker or Prankster, or whatever his name was from Training Day.
Little puppet.
The guy that got his shit pushed in.
So those two are running around with the rest of the pirates, and they're trying to figure out a way to get to the ship, and they navigate a series of perils, including having to swim through a cafeteria, and we find out the one space lady's allergic to swimming, so she gets yanked off screen. This is where you see the terrible CGI aliens.
That's so bad.
Cool
concept.
Cool concept.
Not great execution.
Poorly executed. Then there's a scene where the aliens set a trap around a water hole for some reason. Why would they do it? No one knows, but they got a bunch of proximity mines. They bounce shots around the place, kill all the eggs, climb a ladder. This scene actually sticks with me too for a couple of reasons. One, like the guy from Delicatessen who is strapped to old boy's back. Yeah. So one dude's strapped to his back as he can't walk. Christy is climbing up the ladder to get them to safety.
They're master blastering it up there.
They're master blasting it up there. That guy slips and gets sprayed in the face with alien goo. Hellboy does some just unnecessarily hang upside down shit.
So he does the most ineffective because he hangs down on a ladder and shoots straight down, missing the alien almost completely, except for two shots.
Guns akimbo, and but his boys are in direct line. It would have been so much more effective if he'd held on with one hand and taken aim with the second.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't have looked as cool.
Yeah.
So anyway,
ridiculous.
So now,
also to your point, Gogs, about Romulus, there's kind of the same scene in Romulus as this with there's a ladder scene.
There's a lot of ladder hanging in Romulus. There's a lot in Romulus in this movie, or vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So now, but the scene where the guy in the wheelchair is hanging on for dear life, and then Christy sacrifices himself by unhooking his harness. I'm like, I'll always remember that. That also lives in my head rent free. Eventually, you find out that Call, who is Winona Ryder, is
because the other army guy shoots her dead ass between the tits.
Yeah, but then she back, baby.
I wouldn't mind doing the same, but hey.
Yeah.
And then she's here to kill Ripley because they don't want the
speaking
aliens.
of Winona Ryder's tits, by the way, you guys have all seen The 10, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
What happened to her? Why are her tits so enormous in that movie and they don't seem like it in any other movie?
I think they are in real life. I don't know.
If you look at the old pictures, they're pretty prominent. Yeah.
Yep. So now, at some point, and I forget, I think after this we come across Leland Orser, who has not been...
made me fuck her.
Yeah, Leland Orser had a bad couple years. He kind of plays the same character as he does.
Instead of he made me fuck her, what does he say? Where am I? Or who? He repeats some line 30 times in a row.
Yeah, he
just wants to know what's inside him. Yeah, he got exposed, but he's not an alien.
Shout out to Fractures.
Ripley just gives it to him and says, "You know what? An alien's going to explode out of your." But it's also, like I'm saying, very.
This dialogue is atrocious, by the way.
I'm the monster's mother. You're better than this, Sigourney Weaver. I know it's not your fault, but
she didn't write
it. Right. So then Leland Orser's part of the situation. They end up he ends up like chest exploding the alien into the other scientist because the scientist is trying to leave him for dead. And and get on the boat. We lose. Let's see. Winona Ryder she jacks into the Bible, and then that lets her.
Because she's burned out her modem.
She burned out her modem, so it lets her communicate with the ship. And now instead of Mother, which they had in the first movies, also, I wasn't mad at this in Romulus. You find out why it's called Mother. It's actually an acronym.
Don't like it.
I didn't mind it. Fine.
Silly.
So, but now we're talking to Father, but then she takes over. Leland Orser kills dude. They make their way onto. They were trying to make their way onto the boat, but they end up in the alien nest. Ripley gets taken away, and then Brad Dourif just goes off on this weird sermon.
Doesn't it seem like the scene in Independence Day when the alien's talking through Brent Spiner? Is that what's going on here, or is he just totally? He's still cognizant.
I think he's just into it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
He's hard.
So now, like.
We gave it a human birth cycle. Like, why?
Yeah, but we didn't.
That seems wildly inefficient compared to the way they were doing it before.
It laid eggs. Like, yeah. Wait, pause. We missed the part where they go to the lab and you find out. So Ripley is on number 8.
Oh, the David Cronenberg scene.
Yeah, and you find.
It seems pretty cool, actually.
You find Ripley's. Well, so it is pretty cool, but they find Ripley's 1 through 7. 7 is still alive, and she is a mess.
This scene is referenced in like a bunch of shit, and I didn't know. I never really realized that this is a reference to this movie because like South Park has referenced this scene, the Simpsons have referenced this exact scene.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like I didn't realize that it was a callback to Alien Resurrection, but the kill me.
I thought that was like a reference to The Fly or something.
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah.
Well, they're both doing the same thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
So they go. So I'm telling this out of order, but it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
So Mercy kills her other clone the most merciless way possible via flamethrower.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
There's plenty of guns readily available.
You got to nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to make sure.
Yeah,
she flamethrowered this woman.
I feel bad for you. I feel nothing but empathy for your situation because you're a creature that never should have existed. Let me like toast you to death.
Let me make sure the last few seconds of your life are just agony.
Is this a prophylactic measure in case she has a queen inside of her?
I'm sure, but the whole building, the whole shooting match is going to crash into Earth.
Yeah,
like. We're Gucci, fam. Like, this thing's donezo. So that's another part, right? The ship, when everything goes wrong, the ship immediately goes back to Earth. So then, they use the Bible to reset the
And they don't want to go back to Earth, curiously, not because they don't want the aliens to get loose there, but because Earth is such a massive shithole.
Yeah. Which is actually canonically accurate to the comic books.
And to real life.
Oh, yeah, canonically accurate to real life, too, yeah. 100%.
Right, so now, so they've got it set up so now the ship is going to crash into and annihilate somewhere. Let's just say Detroit.
Well, they say it's unpopulated.
Well, whatever. So Detroit. So now...
Well, it's France, right? Don't they look at the Eiffel Tower at the end
It is France, but it looks like Blade Runner San Diego.
Yeah.
So like, all right, we gotta get to the boat. We gotta get the fuck out of this bitch. So now we make our way into the nest zone. Ripley 8 is taken to the Xenomorph's nest, and the other side, Bradley Dourif, is cocooned, and he's sitting here just like going off.
She like falls in a pit of aliens, right?
Falls in a pit of like rubber,
and they like Christ her up there.
Yeah, it's like an H.R. Geiger mosh pit, and they're just sucks her down in, and then she's here now, and she witnesses the birth of the goofiest looking monster in cinematic history.
The design,
I can't believe that's what they landed on.
Yeah, like it is dumb. And
you go from like H.R. Geiger's like iconic design to that. Like, what are you doing?
Like it looks like shit, and it comes
Why
out.
didn't you just Geiger was still alive at this point. Why didn't you just hire him again and make something else?
But it doesn't seem like it has like the benefits of either species. It just took all the goofiest parts and put it together.
Like it looks like a goofy skull white gorilla like idiot box thing.
It subsists on trains.
So now it erupts out of the, I guess, the live birth alien uterus, which didn't become a thing because it laid eggs up until this point. And then it does what Freud would say everyone wants to do, and it slaps the jaw out of its mother, and then...
The movie is, like, completely unglued at this part.
Oh, no, the movie's lost the thread.
Yeah.
It is, like... And then Brad Dourif's like, hey, come to daddy. And then he gets brained and eaten, sort of, I guess. And then it sees Ripley, and Ripley's all, I guess, like the thing that this thing is the most relatable to, maybe?
It's its grandmother? I guess.
Genetically, right?
Yeah. Also a thing that happens at the end of fucking Romulus. Like, same fucking scene.
This also happens in Aliens where they can't get the fucking ship off the ground. It's attached to the ship in this, but it's the same, like, it's, like, stuck.
Right.
Like,
so now they try and, like, so the monster chases them down, and they get on the ship, and then Ripley uses her acid blood to she skeets all over a window, and it melts a hole in the window, and then it sucks.
This shit is so goofy.
It's so goofy. It sucks the alien into confetti, like, and ejects it out into the cold vacuum space. And then the ship crashes into Earth, and I guess they go to Earth anyway just for funzos, and then Ripley's like, Lada bitches, I'm going to Cabo, and then that's the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the first half of this movie kind of rules. I was watching it, I was like...
this movie works.
Like, I was watching this going, I was wrong about Alien Resurrection. Like, this movie's kind of good.
And then you're like, oh, I was right.
I feel like...
The parts I was right about, I'm still right about, but the parts I was wrong about...
The is so bad. But, like, I would not be surprised at all, knowing nothing, that Ripley was not intended to be in this movie, and they put her in.
Was a note? Like they forced it.
It's so janky, and I feel like they did the best they could with it, like how to get her in there without just doing another like cryo. Well, obviously you can't do the cryo thing again because she literally melted. But
I don't
gotta be hard
for
this. It's gotta be hard for this movie because like you've done everything. Like you've stretched this franchise basically to the only thing you could really do is escalate. Maybe if it went to Earth and it was like it turned into Alien versus Predator. Like
I would love once again it's in the comics. Like aliens take over the Earth in the comics. I would like that movie.
It's
like
not
that
a terrible,
movie.
That sounds expensive as hell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's basically World War Z, but aliens. And, like, I'm into it. Like, Ripley doesn't even have to be involved. It can just be the fall of Earth. And then, like, humans are scattered to the wind. But humans are already scattered to the wind. They're all over the cosmos anyway. It's just Earth has fallen, right? Like,
yeah. For this movie, warts and all, at least it has style. Like, I wasn't bored.
I was just happy that it was at least trying to... Like, it felt like it was trying to do something, right? And it wasn't constantly winking and nodding to the previous other movies, aside from Ripley's inclusion. But hold on, before we get too far away, because I've forgotten in a few weeks. Alec, was your favorite part of the movie the inclusion of space basketball with a chain link hoop or net?
No. That was my least favorite part of the movie.
What? Oh, come on.
Had you seen this before, Alec?
What, Alec? If you had to put Ripley at a position on the basketball court, where would she be on that court?
I mean, based on the people in this movie, probably a power forward because she's tall and lanky.
She's like humongous in real life.
She is tall-ish.
I think she's like 5'10", 5'11".
5'10", yeah.
I think Ron Perlman is much shorter than you think he is because he seems like a big guy, but he's not. Anyway, go ahead.
My favorite part was probably the science.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, this movie, I'm with Gogs. At first, like the first half, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I've definitely seen, I don't know if I've seen the whole thing before, but I've definitely seen at least parts of this movie. Because I remember the swimming, I remember the Ron Perlman hanging from his knees, and the guy like cutting the belt to fall into the water to sacrifice himself. And I remember the alien getting sucked out of the window. So I've seen at least some of this movie before.
You've seen a bulk of this movie.
I feel like this movie is on cable a lot, or at least it used to be.
She is 6 feet tall, by the way.
Yeah, she's confirmed. Sigourney, I was just about to say that. Yeah,
Ron Perlman, 5'11".
So, like I said, a lot shorter than you'd expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you 5'11" isn't 6'2",
short. I know, I'm 5'7", bro.
This movie is something else. I can appreciate everybody acting like, turning up their like enthusiasm, or not their enthusiasm, but like their
just the volume.
Yeah, the volume. It's like what's it? Calculon on Futurama. I am king. And everybody's acting in this really hard. Like as hard as they can. Like they're being paid by the volume of acting they do.
Everybody's got main character syndrome.
Yes,
oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
Doesn't this movie though kind of like, as far as Alien goes, and maybe this is more of a question just for Gogs, but like it almost feels like lost media. It's like nobody talks about it. There's no video games that I remember. There's not like merch. There's no toys.
Alien Resurrection is the dark. It's the one that no one acknowledges.
Yeah,
and for relatively good reason. Also, Alien 3 on the Super Nintendo, banger.
Oh, you guys, Genesis one is hard as shit.
You guys were talking about how you thought maybe this was like Sigourney Weaver was added like after the fact, or they were like, oh, we got to horn her in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This feels to me like a movie. It's not even a script for an Alien movie. And they just were like, well, let's just like, it's just like a generic sci-fi movie. I hate that it's called Alien because I can't say Alien without you guys thinking about Alien. But it's just a generic sci-fi movie with aliens. It's like, oh, why don't we just put Alien in it?
I think you're probably right. I mean, I can see both sides of the coin, really, to be honest.
I'm with you on that, and it kind of begs the question. It's like we have this with other movies that are franchise products. It's like, if this movie was disattached from Alien totally, would it be better? But then it's like, it's so quintessentially an Alien movie, I don't know, like, what it is. Because without the Xenomorphs, it's just an Alien knockoff movie, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, without the Xenomorphs in it, it's kind of just Prometheus. It's just sort of adjacent to it. It's like, kind of bleh. I don't know. This movie's not good. It could have been good, though. Which is my same thing I was saying about Romulus. It could have been. It had the bones. It could have been good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like,
so this just in from Wikipedia. This movie was supposed to revolve around a clone of Newt, but the studio said it had to be Ripley. Movie. And Walter Hill, of all people, suggested to the makers of the movie that how to clone Ripley.
Damn it, Walter Hill. You're usually so good. What happened? I love Gremlins too. Anything else we're going to get to talk about?
What does Walter Hill have something to do with Gremlins too? No, you're thinking of Joe Dante. Walter Hill's the Warriors.
I always get the two confused. I don't know why. Anything else to talk about before we get to 5 Knuckle Shuffles? I guess not. Alec.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
Nice.
All right.
I didn't hate it. I didn't like it.
I'm floating around that myself.
It's just kind of meh. Like, there's some cool scenes. Like the scene where she shoots the aliens through Michael Wincott's guts is fucking
that was pretty awesome.
And, like, seeing all the weird, failed Ripley clones, like, that's cool. But, like, if you're gonna show that stuff, like, I want to see more of, like, the weird science-y shit. not just one little seed. And that, although what do you say it was, Ripley 7 or whatever, that was fucking horrific. That crying on the bed is awful. And they burn her alive. It has moments that are cool in this movie, but overall, that swimming scene, you're in space. You're probably not doing, breathing exercises or holding your breath for long periods of time, because if shit happens in space, you're just vaporized.
Yeah.
You're not swimming, you're not I swim a lot. I can't hold my breath for shit. These guys were under there for 3-4 minutes.
It was forever.
Well, yeah, and that was funny you bring that up, because she's like, "Are you sure about the distance?" He's like, "It's 90 meters."
Feet.
She knew what her breath was good for, swimming in combat boots. Stop.
Fuck, 90 feet underwater? That's a fucking long way.
Right?
To hold your breath. But I digress. This is fixed. TJ.
I'm right there with you, man. This is one of those weird movies that it's either a 4 or it's a 6, because it's not a 5, because I remember it. And I did not hate this movie, kind of at all. I didn't like it, and it's not great, but it is kind of fun. And I like the weird kind of mess that it is, because it is, like we said earlier, it is kind of silly throughout the entire movie. The horror is undercut by its overall silliness and weird acting, and it's got that guy's classic crazy camera angles, and I don't know, I kind of liked it. I think it's bad, but I kind of enjoyed my time with it, but I acknowledge that it's not very good. And I will say what holds it back from being a 7 or an 8 is that ending is just awful. The ending is not fun. The ending is just painful. And that human hybrid alien thing is just ridiculous. So yeah, it's a 6 for me, dog. But not nearly, I would watch this again over Prometheus, over Romulus, over Covenant. I enjoyed this more than all of those movies. And of course over all the Alien v Predator movies, because those are terrible, so. But yeah. Sean.
Man. Because this movie has so much to fucking shoulder after Alien classic, Aliens banger, Alien 3. My feelings on the Alien 3 assembly cut, I think, are well known how much I love that movie. Mm-hmm. This is following all 3 of those movies up. I'm gonna give it a 7, even though I do really hate the ending. There's just so much shit in the periphery that they could explore, but it's just kind of there and they rush past it. The whole fucking the robots made the other robots who are religious, and it's what are we doing? But it's a perfectly cromulent genre movie, you know what I mean? It's breezy, you don't have to dick around with it too much. I like it in the same way that I kind of like Underworld, if that tracks. Or not Underworld, Ultraviolet is one thing.
Ultraviolet, yeah. I can see that.
The ending is fucking abysmal. It's so bad. If that ending was even serviceable, this is almost an 8. I think it's very stylish. It's gross, but Looney Tunes French gross, a Delicatessen or Say Lost Children or whatever. Cause I was I fucking hated this movie for years. This movie
Me too.
Sucks.
Yeah.
But again, this is a young man that rated a fucking what's the Vanity movie, The Last Dragon. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I had no idea what was coming down the pipe.
Right.
So no, it's a 7. It's probably closer to a 6, but I appreciate a lot of the shit they're trying. And I mean, it's full of people I love, Winona Ryder, Michael Wincott, Dan Hedaya. I love Leland Orser. Like, fucking come on, dude. Like, they just need to throw, like, Tom Noonan and fucking William Fichtner in there, and it's perfect. So
I'm sending you guys a picture right now. Apparently, this is the original artwork for the alien baby.
Is it
at
better?
The end? No.
Oh, okay.
It's worse.
I
Oh
don't
my god.
think so. But I just texted it.
Yeah.
It looks fucking awful.
I'm gonna give it a 7. Gogs.
Yeah, it's a 6. Like, but again, it's also, it's better than I remember it. The ending's an absolute mess, but the first half is super fucking good. Like maybe not super good, but the first half is competent and it's interesting. And you're right, they're trying something different. They're like they're exploring the space, literally and figuratively. Like if the first half of the movie, if the second half of the movie could have matched the first half's tone and energy, it'd be like an 8.
You know, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just thought of, like, the perfect way for me to describe this. Cause it's like, it's trying something different, but it's doing it in the confines of all the other 3 movies. It's like how Taco Bell just shuffles the ingredients around. It's like, oh, this is a quesarito now. Like, Alien Resurrection is the quesarito of the Alien movies.
Yeah. It is it's the 4th one, and it's in the 4 slot. Like, it is better than Romulus, I guess. Romulus is kind of right there for me. It's way better than the Alien v Predator movies. It's not better than Alien, Aliens, or Alien 3. But to Sean's point, those are tough boots to fill. It's trying something. It's just like, I don't know, man. The second half, it just kind of loses itself, and it's not even the second half. It's the climax of the movie. Like, it didn't have to end with whatever the hell that was. That was just goofy. Like, it was too fucking goofy.
But it's not played goofy at all.
No. But it's goofy as hell. And, like, edgy Ripley is unnecessary. Like, the part where she yanks out the alien's, like, second mouth and was like, you want to keep this for a keychain? Let's say, all right.
Yeah, what the fuck? What was that? Like,
that's Attitude Era, man. It's fucking, it's new metal. It is like, this is just, everything's got to be just edged up all the time.
It's so Winona Ryder's informed that, you know, everybody sucks. Everything's fucked.
Yeah, this ain't your grandpa's Ripley. This is new Ripley. But no, it's a 6. It's like, I should have watched the version you guys watched. Maybe it was better.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's just longer.
It was just slightly longer, about 5 minutes longer.
It still was under like barely an hour and a half, wasn't it?
No,
was it longer than that?
It was like almost 2.
It was 2, yeah.
Okay.
Who's left?
All right. What to review?
Did we go around the horn? Oh.
Much better than I expected, to be honest, because I was like waddling into like 3s before I actually watched it.
Me too. Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, technically, Gogs, you get a birthday pick. You should have gotten a birthday pick last week.
Yeah. Shit. Pissed. I don't know if I got any. I don't know anything in the chamber.
Here, I'll make a recommendation.
Go ahead.
Firefly.
You mean Serenity?
You mean Serenity?
God damn it.
I'll watch Serenity. That movie rules.
That's based on theme. Well, I mean, that's fine.
It's also pirate based. Yeah. Let's go with it.
They're pirate based. All right. Serenity it is. All right. We'll see you next week. It's going to be Serenity. Can't wait to see the Dennis from It's Always Sunny cameo in the beginning.
Serenity now.
He's in that movie.
He's in like for 2 seconds. He's in that movie.
Howerton.
Back to back Joss Whedon adjacent space pirate movies.
Yeah, I love space pirates. I'm curious. I remember loving this movie, and like thinking the dialogue was so cool because it's written kind of like a western in space.
Yeah.
I wonder if now it's just going to annoy the shit out of me.
Is this the one where
it may not hold up?
Where Chiwetel Ejiofor has a sword?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Cool. In.
And I watched this movie with no Firefly knowledge.
I've never seen the show.
Yeah, me either. I just watched the movie.
We're going to hear Raw Dog in it.
I don't watch
all right.
All right, everybody.
Bye, boys.
See you later.
Good night.
Have a good one. Eat your own ass. You know what to do.
your own ass.
Bye-bye.